Record 37, Side 1, Lesson number 37, the 37th lesson, Practical section, London Parks.
This is a fantastic city. London, for me, has always been a name to conjure up ideas of greatness and wonder.
You've got Paris, Pierre, and Maria has Rome, and these are beautiful, historic, and full of interest for the foreign visitor.
That's true, John, but everyone's alike. A place one doesn't know is more interesting than a place one does. What capital city in Europe, or perhaps in any country, has no special attraction for the visitor?
Perhaps you're right, but, of course, I don't want you to think I don't like London just because it happens to be home.
I've been here a couple of weeks now, but I haven't seen very much yet, though my shoes will soon need to be repaired after all the walking I've done.
The parks have benches where old men may sit down, Pierre, if you are tired.
The parks are almost too interesting to be spoiled merely by using them for rest.
You must admit that an afternoon, an hour or two at least, spent in St. James's Park is a delightful experience on a warm summer day. I love to watch the swans on the lake. Did you know there were some pelicans too?
I didn't, but I shall look for them tomorrow. I believe you can see Buckingham Palace from the park. Is that right?
Yes, it stands at one end of the lake, and if you look the other way, from the bridge that crosses the lake, you see the turreted roofs of Whitehall through the trees.
Hyde Park has a number of attractive features which please not only the foreign visitor, but give delight to the Englishman out with his family or his girlfriend on a Sunday afternoon.
What is Speaker's Corner? I've heard people talk about it, but can't imagine what it's like.
I went there last Sunday, Maria. I didn't really understand very much, but there are a number of small raised platforms which people, usually with a grievance, stand on and begin to make themselves heard. It doesn't seem to matter whether people listen to them or not.
They may say what they like, of course, provided they respect the law. Some people are most entertaining and talk on the most varied subjects, from politics to religion, and anything at all that comes into their minds.
I shall make a point of going. Are they strange-looking people?
Sometimes a little bohemian, shall we say, but you see all kinds. That's what happens in a free country, as the English say.
Hyde Park is one of the largest parks in London, and also has its famous lake, the Serpentine, where people bathe and go boating. Did you know that on the 1st of January, bathers who believe in open-air swimming all the year round sometimes have to break the ice first?
That sounds mad to me. But I can understand people having an early morning ride along Rotten Row.
Londoners do love their parks and gardens. Last week I went to Regent's Park and visited the zoo there. What a lovely setting it is for a zoological garden.
Talking of gardens, have you been to Kew Gardens yet?
No. But would you like to go with me on Sunday? Are you free on Sunday, Maria?
Oh yes, and I'd love to come. Knowing how much the English think of their gardens, I'm sure it must be an entrancing place.
That's settled then. Kew on Sunday. I do hope it's a good day. I suppose you've already visited Hampton Court Palace?
I haven't, but it's in my program. When may we go?
I'm free on Saturday, and I believe it's only a few miles from the centre of the city. It could be done in the afternoon, couldn't it, John?
Yes, of course. But if you've nothing special to do in the morning, why not go earlier and take a picnic lunch? There would be more time to view the palace then.
That would suit me nicely. I can't wait to see Maria get lost in the maze.
Don't you worry, I can always get out of a fix. I say, John, are there any ghosts in the palace?
Well, it is said that 2 of Henry VIII's wives haunt the place, but I can't say, since I've never seen them myself.
I'd love to tell the folks at home I'd seen a real ghost. Wouldn't you, Pierre?
Ghosts are not my favorite company, so I'll be leaving before dark to return to a more cheerful atmosphere. Ladies carrying their heads under their arms are not my idea of a pleasant Saturday evening.
I had hoped to have a chat about London's buildings and squares, but I'm afraid time is running out again. I must be off. Meet you here on Saturday at 10. Bye-bye.
Fine. Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Side 2. Grammatical section. Verbs of perception. These verbs, which express the action of the various senses, have several uses which distinguish them from most others. In this lesson, we shall consider the constructions which are particular to this category, and learn how to apply them with numerous examples. 1. The first thing to remember is that verbs of perception are rarely used in the progressive tenses. Even if the action of seeing, hearing, etc. is taking place now, the simple present tense is used, not the present progressive. I see your father coming along the road. Do you hear what he is saying? If the idea of will is to be expressed, to see and to hear are involuntary, then the verbs to look and to listen should be used. You are looking at a photograph of John when he was at school. What are you listening to? I'm listening to an interesting play on the radio. As well as to see and to hear, this category includes verbs like to feel, to taste, and to smell. In certain cases, however, when these verbs have special meanings, they are found in the progressive form. He was seeing the sights of London for the first time. I must be hearing things. John was feeling for his matches on the table when Mary turned on the light. In the first example, to see means to visit. In the second, to hear is used in an idiomatic expression, which means that the speaker has imagined he heard a noise of some kind. The third example uses to feel in the sense of to look for by touch. There are also other verbs which, indicating a state of mind or feelings, are not used in the progressive form. Here are some. To appear, to be, active voice, to believe, to belong, to contain, to desire, to fit, to forget, to hate, to have, possess, to know, to love, to matter, to mean, to notice, to recognize, to refuse, to remember, to seem, to suppose, to think that, to understand, to want, to wish. 2. The defective verb can, with its past tense could, is often found with verbs of perception. This use is employed when it is desired to give the idea of being able to do, succeeding in doing the perceptive action. Can you see the little red house at the top of the hill? I could taste the chocolate in the cake very well. 3. The infinitive, without to, is used after verbs of perception in the active voice when the action perceived is considered as a complete whole. We saw them return by car, then heard their door shut a few minutes later. When they saw the door slowly open and a hand switch off the light, they felt their blood run cold. The verbs to make, to let, and occasionally to help are also used in this construction. With a passive voice verb of perception, the following infinitive is used with to. The child was heard to whimper in his cot, so his mother lifted him. He was seen to jump into the car, bang the door, and go off at great speed, as if he were very angry. 4. The verbs of perception may also be followed by the gerund. In this case, the idea that is expressed refers to its continuity or performance, not to its completed state. A. We saw them look at your letter on the table. We saw them coming along the road. B. I heard John hammer some nails into the wall. I heard John hammering in the garden. In A, the act of looking, in the first example, is considered as a complete action, while in the second, coming means while they were coming, that is, while the action was in progress. The same comparison may be made in the two examples B. You will no doubt remember the list given in Lesson 25, showing some common verbs which also take the gerund. To these may be added to remember, which takes this construction when it means to recall. He remembers buying the book, but not where he left it. I shall remember to post the letter. In the second example, remember means not forget. To forget also has two meanings, depending on whether it is followed by the infinitive, fail to remember, or the gerund, lose memory of. They forgot to come last Sunday and will probably forget again tomorrow. I can't forget hearing the change in his voice after such a short time.